We're standing right now in the Hall of Honor, which is located on the south concourse of the new Arrowhead Stadium. The great thing about the Hall of Honor is on game day, it's open to anyone in the stadium. There's no fee on the actual day of the game that we're playing a team that day. You can come here and walk through the Hall of Honor at no charge. The Hall of Honor pays tribute to all the great Chiefs players who've been put in the Chiefs Hall of Fame throughout the history of the franchise, as well as the championship teams. But it goes a little bit further, where it also pays tribute to the history of the American Football League, which Lamar founded in 1960. The hall is divided into a couple of areas. Behind me, as you look, you can see the defensive side of the ball. These are Chiefs players who went into the Chiefs Hall of Fame, and they're aligned just the way they would have been had they played in a game. The defensive line would be your first group, linebackers behind those, and behind those players you would have defensive backs. On the far side, you have the offensive players in the Chiefs Hall of Fame: offensive line, quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. We're standing along the section of the Hall of Honor which tells the story of the American Football League. As you follow along in here, you'll notice some of the early helmets from the American Football League. All these are original helmets, as well as a very unique check. It's from 1961. It's a pre-season game for a check for Chris Burford. The fee on it is $48.50. Most people find that to be pretty remarkable given what players are making today. The first championship of this franchise did not come in Kansas City. It came in Dallas, because the original name for the Kansas City Chiefs was the Dallas Texans. Lamar was from Dallas. It was only natural that that was the city that he wanted to have his franchise in. Here you see a number of items from that championship year. The Chiefs were always known as a very nattily dressed team, and these sport coats were worn by the players when they traveled. Early cufflinks. For whatever reason, cufflinks and tie bars were very, very common with teams at that time. Old Municipal Stadium was where the Chiefs called home when they moved here in 1963. Integration was slow to come to professional sports in this country, but it wasn't slow to come to the American Football League. As you can see from this large map, these are players from traditional black colleges and universities located in the South, and by the Super Bowl IV, half the starting lineup with the Kansas City Chiefs were African-American players, largely due to a couple of personnel people, most appropriately Lloyd Wells, known as the Judge. He recruited these schools and found a large portion of these players.
Kill him, 65 toss power trap.
The '69 championship, of course, is the one that most people remember, Super Bowl IV. We're very fortunate to have Otis Taylor's jersey from Super Bowl IV, and you can tell it's from Super Bowl IV because it includes the 10-year patch that all the players wore, because it was the 10-year anniversary in the last AFL game. Probably one of the most popular places in the Hall of Honor is where the Super Bowl is located, the actual Super Bowl trophy. And again, everyone who follows professional football in this country knows the distinctive look of the trophy. In 1989, Carl Peterson was hired as president and general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he immediately hired Marty Schottenheimer. Together, those two men had a lot to do with a renaissance period in Chiefs history. In this particular case, you see many of the great moments of that era, including the actual jersey worn by Marcus Allen when he scored his 100th rushing touchdown, a record at that point. And you also have the Lava Lava, which was a wrap that Dan Salamua, a Samoan, would wear in the locker room, along with pads that belonged to J.J. Burton, who was a very important part of the team's run to the AFL championship game after the '93 season. This is one of the more ambitious parts of the Hall of Honor, because it includes photographs, or if we don't have photographs, an actual helmet of all players who played for the Chiefs, either on a roster during the regular season or on a postseason roster. We have 50 years of players, and here we have 50 years of games. Every game that the Chiefs organization, either as the Texans or the Chiefs, have played over the past 50 years are on a wall here. The yellows indicate victories, the reds indicate defeats. The Chiefs Hall of Honor is unique in its design, unique in the fact that the public on game days can walk around and learn the history of the Kansas City Chiefs, but also unique in this one special way. It tells the story of the American Football League, where I can't think of one other museum that does a better job of telling that story and paying tribute to the remarkable legacy of Lamar Hunt.